Unfortunately, Zach, we do have to go here, and I apologize.
We don't
to you.
have to. You guys just want to.
It was the biggest game.
I want
yeah,
to.
see, there it is. Ziggy wants to. We don't.
The biggest
have
game
to
of the
go here.
weekend took place in Buffalo, and look, we root for the Dolphins. Like, there's no sugarcoating it.
We've been fins up in all week.
We love fins up on this show. It was not a good. It was not a good day in Buffalo. 48-20. The Bills. I mean, just pound any verb you want to use. It's like just mauled, destroyed. It was a bad day to be a Dolphins fan, and it was a bad day to watch Zach be in pain all day because he was just running around saying, "Oh my God," he was furious. Ziggy, I wish you could have seen it. Zach was absolutely furious at halftime, and it was really a good first half up until the final 5 minutes or so.
2 minutes. 2
minutes, yeah. It was. I mean, it was back and forth, 14-14. The next thing you know, 31-14 going into the break, and it felt like all the wind was taken out of the Dolphins' sails. What's really tough for me, and we could start with the Dolphins here. It feels like in all of these really big games, and a lot of times they do seem to be on the road, but in these big games sometimes against San Francisco, against Buffalo, it starts to crumble. The defense can't get stops when they have to. Tua gets under pressure. There's an interception, a fumble. It's kind of the same story. And you said that in the basement, right, Zach? You were like, it feels like the same story every time.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, no. Sorry. I just feel like we always play scared during these big moments.
And that's part of the problem is with this Miami team. I think they're really good and they can beat the crap out of average teams in the league. They hung 70 on a shitty team in the Broncos, but they can really dominate anyone until they get to that big game. I still don't trust them against the top dogs in the league. And last year, all the games were close against Buffalo. The 3 games were decided by 8 points. And I mean, great football games. But this time they just got spanked. And I want to believe that they can be a top-tier contender. And I know we're all calling them the best team in football a week ago. But until they can go and beat one of the big boys, especially on the road, which is easier said than done, I'm just not ready to say, like, okay. Maybe is Buffalo just a tier above them?
So here's the thing. What did we say all offseason was going to be the problem for the Dolphins? The answer was the defense. This game, the offense was good enough. I'm not saying the offense was perfect, right? You had that unfortunate Tua interception the second half. You had the Raheem Mostert fumble. But like the offense was basically good enough to win the game. The problem was that the defense just couldn't stop the Bills, right? Whenever Josh Allen wanted to score, I mean, he just went 21 for 25, 300 passing yards, 4 touchdowns.
He was amazing today.
Another rushing touchdown. Latavius Murray, somehow he got new legs in him. Gabe Davis, like all the Bills players played.
Diggs
great.
had 6 catches for 120 and 3 touchdowns. Diggs is amazing.
It was a great game from the Buffalo offense, but the Dolphins defense just has to be better. There's no way around it, right? And, some of that scheme, some of its players, some of it's getting used to things. But at a certain point, if your defense is going to give up 3 touchdowns to Stefon Diggs, if the secondary can't disrupt, like the secondary can't make plays, the pass rush isn't getting there. The Bills are just going to own this division, and the Dolphins aren't going to be able to beat anyone in the playoffs, right? Who do you have to beat? You have to beat the Chiefs and the Bills if you want to make it to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. Both those teams have quarterbacks that will devour you if you don't have a good pass rush and a good secondary. So I worry a little bit about the Dolphins. Now, this was to the far range of outcomes. Things went bad for the Dolphins. I think their offense plays a little bit better, gets a little bit luckier in some other games. But they're certainly not going to be favored the next time they have to play the Bills, even at home.
Well, and look, too, as you said, it just went wrong today. It was 2 turnovers. Tua was sacked 4 times. Basically anything that could go wrong starting in that 3-minute period in the second quarter basically started to go wrong for Miami and just got away from them. And I don't want people to think that we're just trashing the Dolphins. I think they're a really good football team. They're probably a tier 2 team. But when I compare them to the Bills or the Eagles or the 49ers, you could probably still have to keep the Chiefs in there because they're the defending Super Bowl champions. How confident are you in Miami being able to beat those teams? And I'm not there yet.
So here's the thing, right? Today, Josh Allen was on. And when Josh Allen is on, he is a very difficult quarterback to beat. When he's on, there's one quarterback in the National Football League better than him. And that's Patrick Mahomes. But, when Josh Allen is not on, We saw what happened against the Jets.
Yep.
Now, the Jets defense, like, that's better than the Bills, or better than the Dolphins defense, excuse me. But Josh Allen still threw for 3 interceptions that game. It's not like he was lighting things up. So I think the Dolphins, like, they won't be favored in these games.
They can
but
win, for sure.
Yeah, they absolutely can, right? We're not talking about the Bears here. This is a team with an offense that can perform very well, and you don't want to overreact to one bad beating. Overreacting to one game is exactly why people said that the Dolphins were going to go into Buffalo and win by 50.
Yeah. Are you looking at Zach?
Maybe a little bit. Look.
Sorry, Zach.
Look, Zach gets to be a fan of a great NFL team this year with a revitalized offense, an excellent head coach, a fun quarterback, 2-star receivers. They're everything the Vikings aren't. So I do feel a little jealous.
Zach, would you like to give a real quick takeaway on the Dolphins? Because you watch this game closer than the rest of us do. You have more interest, more rooting interest.
Every time we play Buffalo,
oh man,
we play scared.
This is a scarred person.
And I don't know what it is. I feel like every time we play Buffalo, it's like the offensive line gets like the fear of God in them.
And I mean, your eyes are dead right now. Yeah, you look like you just saw a ghost.
Because this is the exact same story, and I'm done with. I'm done with it. I'm completely done with.
At least last year you competed with them.
Yeah, we competed last year.
You beat them.
We didn't look dumb. We looked like we could do it. And then for some reason this year we go into Buffalo, and next thing I know, the offensive line looks like they're scared of their.
You did have some injuries today, right? Armstead went down.
We didn't have.
Thank God, the Tyreek. I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I remember all of a sudden I turn around and hear Zach going, no. When Tyreek Hill was grabbing at his knee. Luckily, nothing serious there.
Yeah, they just knocked me.
Hey, I mean, it's 1 week. Like, that's the thing about football. People overreact. Like, I'm right here saying the Dolphins, I wouldn't put them tier 1. A lot of people still would. No, I don't. I think they're very good. But people overreact to, like, a week ago, they were the best team in the league. Today, people are saying they're not tier 1, like I am. So, sometimes you just have to like focus up and say, okay, you know what? Very good team. They caught a buzzsaw in Buffalo at the moment.
I think Jerome Baker, the linebacker for the Dolphins, said it best. He was asked in an interview how he felt about the game today. He said this: "I'm tired of losing to Buffalo," and that was it. Like, I'm sure the Dolphins are sick with this, right? Because losing to Buffalo sucks, but losing to Buffalo like this is worse.
Yep.
They're just gonna have to get it together, and I think they will. Right? Don't count the Dolphins out. Don't overreact.
Right, I just want to put it out there. I think there was only, like, literally, you could probably count less than 100 Dolphins fans at that game.
Yeah, it's a long trip from Miami to Buffalo. And really, Zach, you're winning in that regard. I'd rather live in Miami than Buffalo.
Yeah, you're right.
Nothing against Buffalo. Like, we live in cold weather areas too.